So, welcome back. This little parcel turned up at my door this morning while I was at work. Let's have a bit better look at it. This is the SkyLeader GPS, and we're going to have some fun with this. So this is it. It comes with the tracking rings, and basically, if you don't know what this is basically a tracking system for your pigeons. It's pretty cool. Seen a few videos and quite a bit of stuff about this, and lucky enough I've got one, so we can utilize this in training our set of young birds we've got, and we can get a better idea of how they're performing, what routes they're taking, how quickly they're coming home and stuff like that. So let's have a bit better look at it. So it comes with these 5 tracking rings. That's them here. See if we can zoom in. It basically here is about the right size. It clips over the life ring of your pigeon. It's not a bad little thing. It's quite light, and it's actually very small. You can see it's like the size of my thumbnail, so hopefully it shouldn't bother the birds too much. And it's like super light. This one is, I think, with the battery, it's about 4 grams, and you can see that's the actual battery just here. If you just force this part up, see, it's up, and you should be able to pull it out, and that's the actual battery there, this little thing, which is tiny. So I think this battery is about 1 gram. It's super light, and it just goes back in like that. This is the actual ring when it's open, and you just sit that over the top of the life ring and then clip that shut like that. We'll probably use this next week once we get the young birds used to actually having these on, and there should be some rings in here, dummy rings for training the birds. And here's the actual 3 pins for when it goes onto this loading dock, which is just here. So this is the loading dock, and you obviously just sit this down in here like that, and it clips in, sits in there perfectly, and you'll plug this into your computer. We'll go into this in more detail when we start using it, but today we're just having a bit of a look at it, because you know, not a lot of people have seen this. So let's have a bit of a look in here, see what other goodies they've given us. Okay, so there's the actual charging dock. That little battery I took out before just slides into here, and you can charge all 5 at once, and that looks like that plugs into your computer as well, or you could probably plug that in like you do with a phone into the wall socket. So pretty cool. And I'm hoping that this is our training rings. Oh yes, it is. How many of them do we get? Oh, and our cable. So there's our cable for our charger and our docking, and here's our training rings. So these are basically identical to the main rings, but they don't have the battery. They're just a dummy ring. So this is for the birds just to get used to wearing them, and I'm going to throw these on my birds tomorrow when we let them out, maybe in the second time, and we'll start getting them used to it. We'll have to pick maybe 5 birds, put a little clip on there just so we know that they're the 5 birds that we're going to start training with these. But that'll be for tomorrow, so we'll definitely get the birds up in the air and see how they go. These are actually quite light too, so I assume that these are the same weight as the actual proper rings. You can see they're basically identical. So pretty cool. This is going to be really fun. Very, very fun. If you haven't seen it, you can follow this because we're going to go through it because I've never used it before. So if you want to learn more, you can jump onto the SkyLeader website, which I'll put down below, but you need to go onto this website and you can download the actual version for your computer. We've got Windows 64-bit, so we've downloaded the 64-bit version, which is this one. And this is the SkyLeader program. And I haven't had much of a play around with it yet, but it looks really cool. It's got basically the satellite. When we start training and logging the data back in, it will put the actual bird's path along here, and it tracks things like the speed and the height and things like that as well. So it's going to be pretty cool because this is where we are, basically Perth, and we're going to train our birds quite a fair way out, but we generally race right out here. Our furthest race is right out here somewhere in the desert. So that's pretty cool, but we probably won't be GPS tracking that long because I don't think the batteries last that long. But we'll definitely be charging them and testing to see how well they go, especially out to here. But that's a brief look at that. Once I start training the birds, we'll go through it and see a little bit more about this and how it works and whatnot, because it's pretty cool. It works off Google Maps, so you can basically have a normal view, or you can drop it into satellite, which is definitely my sort of favourite. And then we can start training all our young birds that we've got, and we're going to utilise this system and go off this to pick good birds and see how we can improve and see what routes they're taking, if they're stopping, if they're going around circles, all that kind of stuff. So this little system is going to be super valuable for getting these young birds in line. So that's it. Charging dock, cable, the little data logger, 5 GPS rings, and then you got the 5 training rings, which is, it's cool. So stay tuned, we're going to start using this tomorrow. Catch us later.